Finally, my final message to Obama, I think I've given him enough to chew on for a while, is an old and sound idea. Love it or leave it. Mr. President, you seem to hate America, so why don't you leave it? I'm willing to buy a one-way ticket for him to Cuba, Honduras, or Syria so he can join the tyrants and thugs, which he seems to relate to more than the people fighting for freedom. Or he can go to Europe, where they seem to love his socialist ideas. Well, people always say that, wait a minute, this guy must do something right. Why are you always criticizing him? One reason I criticize him is because the mainstream media treats him like a god, and they get enough of praise of Obama from the mainstream media. But I want to show what a statesman I am, and that I do recognize when Obama does something right. I saw him on television kill a fly with his bare hand. I finally found something he's good at. So I want to show him that I'm open-minded, and if he ever runs for fly catcher or dog catcher, I'll vote for it. And as the media, you know, the guy walks on water, so he can't perform miracles, and he performed one miracle for me. I never thought if I lived to be 1,000 years, I'd see a president who was a worse president than Jimmy Carter. Obama does it easily. And I've often said Carter, up to Obama, was the worst president and the worst former president in history. And I am positive as soon as Obama leaves office, he will become the worst former president in history. I'm honored to talk to this Tea Party Association, because you're one of the few groups that is mobilized to stand up to Obama and stop his destruction of America. Your work is just as important as that of the founders, because as I often tell my friends, they say, how can we stand Obama for 4 years? I say, you don't have to worry about it. He'll destroy America before 4 years are up, if you don't stop him first. I'm also honored to speak in front of the Independence Hall in the area where our founders gave us the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. We're standing in the shadows of the icon of the greatest country in the history of the world. You know it's the greatest country in the history of the world. I know it's the greatest country in the history of the world. And I think it's a pathetic disgrace that Obama hasn't figured that out lately. I'm honored to be here, especially today on the 233rd anniversary of the Declaration of Independence and the birth of America. However, if we don't stop the proposals and plans of President Obama, we may soon be mourning the death of America. Now, to understand Obama, you have to understand his methods of operation. He is a Marxist, yeah. He is a world-class liar. I mean, I knew he was a world-class liar right up front when he said he sat in the pews of Reverend Jeremiah goddamn America Right for 20 years, and he didn't know what he was saying. Here's the smartest man on the planet who's there for 20 years, who works closely with the guy, who writes a book based on a sermon, and he doesn't know what he said. He's either an idiot or the biggest liar in history. Maybe both. In addition to being a liar, there's little relationship between what he says and what he does. He says he's, you know, nonpartisan, bipartisan, the new age. He's the most crap is a good word. Thank you very much. Now I'm authorized to use that word myself. He is full of bull roar, which you know what that means. On top of being a liar and no relationship between what he says and what he means, he breaks campaign promises faster than any politician you can imagine. And the worst part of it, of course, is the mainstream media lets him get away with it. So to summarize, it's time we stop denying, and it's time we admit we've elected a fraud, a phony, a faker, a fibber, a hypocrite, a radical, a leftist, a socialist, a charlatan, and a demagogue whose programs and plans will destroy America. And you have to remember, in understanding this guy, he rose out of the sewer of Cook County, Chicago, corrupt politics, and associated most of his working life with terrorists, bigots, racists, and those who hate America. On top of that, and I will quote the great one, Mark Levin. He summarized it better than anyone could summarize it. He said, quote, "He's full of crap, and so are his advisors." Now, Rush Limbaugh, a great political commentator also, he is great. I think he's the best political commentator in the country. I get more sense out of Limbaugh listening to him in 1 hour than I get out of the Inquirer in 20 years. Here's how Limbaugh, he was right on target. He said if Al-Qaeda wants to destroy America, it better hurry up, or Obama will beat them to the punch. Now, we know he's already spent us into unsustainable debt, quadrupled our deficit, has set a record for government waste, pork, and earmarks. He started to dismantle our security and national defense. He's getting ready to destroy our health delivery system. He started down the path of granting amnesty to 12 million illegal immigrants. He's just getting warmed up. He's coming up with new regulations for the financial services industry. His energy bill, the so-called crap and trade bill, amounts to the biggest tax and regulatory power grab in history, crushing killer of millions of jobs and a blow to the economy that will do nothing to halt global warming. And even if there is such a thing, and I'm sure he'll have a perfect plan to wreck our education system. He is a perfect illustration of what the great Ronald Reagan said. He says liberals and radicals like Obama and the Democrats do this. And if it moves, tax it. And if it stops moving, regulate it. And he also summarized what's going on brilliantly. Reagan says, government is not the solution, government is the problem. Our situation is made many times more dangerous by our president, who not only seems unwilling to fight the war against terror, but also doesn't even recognize we're in a war against terror. The president and his administration recognize no war against terrorism, but would call it an overseas contingency operation. Our president wants to read enemy combatants captured on the battlefield on grand rights. Now you know why liberalism is often considered a mental disorder. And Obama and the Democratic Party have that disorder in its most severe form. And to complete this threat, we have a Congress willing to rubber stamp every radical proposal without even reading it. So to summarize, I'm almost done. You're getting on the phone. I just criticized Obama for talking too much. If you don't want Obamacare, the energy tax, and all the rest jammed down your throats, you better start writing your senators and representatives. You better start supporting the bulletin and the alternative media. It said vigilance is the price of freedom. I'd say vigilance and work is the price of freedom. We better go to work. We know what we have to do if we want to save America. We're counting on you, so do it. God bless America. God